If you're looking to learn more about 3D printing, then this is the video for you, because I've just put together a ton of useful tips and tricks that are good for beginners or whether you just want to learn something new. First of all, we have this. So this is a super simple hinge that I designed in Fusion. Now, if you're designing anything like a box or any sort of storage that needs a hinge, a trick that you could do is design the hinge point where you'll need a pin to fit a piece of filament. This saves you a lot of time because you've always got pieces of filament that you can just trim down and place directly through the actual barrel. And this way it gives you a super strong alternative as well for an actual hinge pin, because this thing is just not going to break. All you need to do is slip the filament through, trim both of the edges, and it's done. Maybe add a little bit of super glue if you feel like you need it, you don't want it to come apart, but otherwise this thing's absolutely great. Now, of course, you could always 3D print a pin for this, but this saves time and filament on that. And of course, the filament pieces are way more durable than using something with layers as well. So next time you're designing a hinge, save yourself a step and just make enough space so that you can use a filament piece. Speaking of strength on your 3D prints, this one is a super simple thing that you can do. It takes no time at all, and it makes a massive difference. Layer lines. You want to make sure that your layer lines are placed in a way that won't allow it to just break as soon as you add weight to the print. For example, if you take a look at this one that I made where the layer lines are going from left to right all the way along the actual hook, you'll notice that once I apply a little bit of pressure to it, whether it be from hanging a bag on there or anything like that, or just bending it in my hands, it snaps pretty easily. Layer lines are a very, very weak point to 3D prints. If you're looking to add weight or stress to the prints for this sort of like reasoning, then they can break along the layer lines super easily. What you're going to want to do is when you add this to your slicer, just check which way the layer lines are going to be printed and rotate the print around so that you have it printing in a way that is not directly horizontal. Basically, you want to think about which way stress is going to be added to the actual print and have the layer lines going the opposite way to evenly distribute that stress. For example, if I have the layer lines going from back to front on the exact same hook model, nothing changed, no infill change or anything like that, as you can see, this thing is way more strong now because I can't break it with my hands very easily, and anything that I put on here to hang in a realistic amount of weight, it will be absolutely fine. This just took rotating the print around, very little effort whatsoever, especially if you plan on printing something quite big. You don't want to have to print that. Hang something on it, it immediately snaps, and then you're back to the beginning. Now, if you're looking to get into 3D designing yourself so you can print your own models out, then something that I would absolutely recommend you invest in, something that I didn't get early enough, was calipers. These are super useful, especially digital ones, because they give you the reading immediately, so you don't have to like squint in and see. Maybe that's just my eyes getting old, but these will give you that directly, but they'll also give you the decimal as well, so you know that you're super accurate. Now, you can get cheaper ones like these, and they definitely have never had any issues for me yet, or you can get some better ones to make sure that they last long term. That being said, these are very cheap. If you are designing your own 3D models, then you should absolutely have some calipers ready. These just allow you to know for a fact that when you are actually putting measurements into your models, that they're actually accurate. If you're creating any tolerances for anything like the 3D printed hinge, or for example, recently I wanted to add a drawer to a 3D printed keyboard case that I made so that I could put my external hard drive in there, so it's not just sat on the desk whenever I'm finished using it. And because of the calipers, I was able to get a super snug fit. This thing fits in there beautifully, closes up nice and easy, nothing gets caught, everything is super smooth. But no matter what I'm designing, I will be using calipers all the time to make sure things fit correctly and not waste print time to print something out, find that it doesn't fit, and then also filament, because there's nothing worse. You've printed out something, one tiny little piece doesn't work, so you're gonna have to reprint the entire thing. Is an absolute nightmare. So if you haven't got any of these and you are starting to make your own prints, get some. They really are worth it. So before moving on, if you haven't already clicked the sub button, please do. The channel blew up. I don't know what the frick happened, but I appreciate it so much. It still blows me away every day, but every sub does make a massive difference. I appreciate it. While we're still on the topic of designing your own 3D prints, something I get asked all the time is, what program do I actually use to design those models that I print? Well, I recently started using Fusion 360, or I guess it's now called Autodesk Fusion, which is free to use, by the way, and it has everything that you're ever going to want to use for modeling. Now, I used to use Tinkercad myself and recommend that to people starting out because it is very simple to use. However, I would actually now just recommend starting out and spending all of the time on Fusion straight away, because there's a good chance that you will end up here regardless, and so you might as well invest that time that you spend on other places just directly into here. Now, when you load this up for the first time, it can look ridiculously overwhelming, and it may be a good enough reason for you to just close it and go, nope, But once you understand that the general use that most people are going to need from this is just design a 2D sketch and then extrude it, add a few holes and that sort of stuff, it gets a hell of a lot easier and less overwhelming. Now, I personally still have loads to learn about Fusion, but I've got the basics under wraps and I've made quite a few really cool things that I'm very happy with. I got started out with just the sketching and extruding, and then whenever I ran into an issue or I needed to do something more advanced, I would just Google or YouTube that specific thing, and then that way I can learn them one at a time. Don't try and sit there and go through tons and tons of lessons. Just run into an issue, and when you hit that issue or you want to do something new that you don't know, just look up that one specific thing, and that way you can learn it one thing at a time, and eventually you'll realize that, hey, I've actually learned loads and I can make something way more unique just from scratch. And while there are so many incredibly useful beginner guides on YouTube for this, I actually plan on making one that dumbs it down even more, dumb enough for me and how I would have wanted it, and posting it to Patreon for completely free. So if you are interested, the Patreon has like free files that you can download as well, but also I'll be posting some guides and stuff over there that I wouldn't post here, and it'll all be free. You don't have to sign up or anything, become a member. You can just go over there and watch it or consume it or download whatever you want to do. But if you haven't started designing your own prints yet, then you definitely should do some basics at least, because not only will you be able to make your own things, you'll also learn how prints work, and that way you can see how to improve things, or you can see how to print them better, and many of the benefits too. Moving back to some more basic stuff. If you are just starting out with 3D printing, a lesson you'll learn very quickly is if you're going to have any errors or mistakes or problems with your prints, it's going to happen pretty early on. You'll notice that it's usually your first layer or first like few, maybe 3-5 layers where you'll notice an issue coming. So if you ever want to leave a print on and you want to walk away, or maybe you want to go to bed and leave it on overnight, if it's a large print especially, you're going to want to check at least the first few layers. Now you can do this remotely if you have a camera as well. You can check it on your phone, which is a great way to do it. But if you want to be super safe, just let it print the first couple of layers and then look at the print on the print bed and see, is there anything like curling up on the edges? Is there anything in the way that maybe could cause a problem further down the line? Any bits that don't look quite right on your first layer, like any leftover pieces of filament or anything like that? These could all make problems for your print later down the line. Now, 9 times out of 10, unless you've got like some crazy overhanging part that may cause issues along the way, once you're past the first few layers, you'll be okay, and you can leave that print to finish off and everything should be great. As long as you've kept on top of like your maintenance and your calibrations and that sort of thing, you shouldn't run into any issues along the way after that point. It can happen, definitely, but it is always worth keeping an eye on the first few layers just to make sure that these things don't happen if you are going to be leaving the print. Now, for those of you with an AMS, this could be worth mentioning and knowing about for sure. If you're 3D printing a in-color print like this Corridon here, which is the example we're going to use, it's very worthwhile noting that while this has a ton of filament color changes, you're going to end up with a lot of filament purging, right? Between each color, it's going to purge out some to make sure that the colors don't overlap in a bad way. However, because of this, it's actually worth it if you're printing something so small to just put an extra couple of copies on here, which is what I did when I actually 3D printed this, and then you can just give them away to other people if you don't need them yourself. So even if you don't need another 1 or 3 or 4 more of these, because there's such little filament actually going into the model, you might as well chuck another couple on to make it more worthwhile and so that the waste doesn't feel as bad. So for example, if this is only 20-30 grams of filament, by the time that you've done all the purging, it doesn't change how much purge you actually need when you're printing more than one model. If you print 10 models, the amount of purged filament is going to be exactly the same. Print a couple more since it doesn't use much more filament, and this is super useful if you plan on selling anything like this too. If you have small figures like this that you do plan on selling and it's all printed in color, stock up. Every time you do a print as many of these as you can, and that way when you are purging filament, you're not wasting anywhere near as much, and in the grand scheme of things, you'll be saving a lot of money. Another very important thing to know about, especially if you're new to 3D printing, you may not know this, is there's different types of nozzles for your actual 3D printers. And what I mean by this is, depending on what filament you're using, you may need to use a hardened steel or an abrasive resistant nozzle to stop it from getting chewed up when you put certain things through. For example, I've printed quite a few things with glass fiber or carbon fibers and many other things like that. And it's important to make sure that you are using a actual hardened steel or abrasive resistant nozzle, because it will just destroy the other nozzle as it goes through. Like, it might start off okay, but if you're doing a decently long print, or if you're doing it often, you're eventually going to run into some issues, whether it's quality issues in the actual first print that you do, or whether it's just a completely dead nozzle down the way. Now, while a lot of printers these days already come with the hardened steel nozzles, it's definitely worth checking and making sure that that's actually installed before you do go ahead, because I will be getting a new printer very soon, and that doesn't actually come with one of them already inserted. It comes with one in the box, but if you aren't aware, you may put the filament straight in and then ruin your first nozzle, and it's just not worth doing. So before you print anything that is too abrasive, or if you're going on to print anything that's not just PLA or something like that, it may be worth checking on the actual filament if it says whether it needs a hardened steel nozzle or an abrasive resistant nozzle or anything like that, just to keep prepared. And that brings us to the end of this one. But if you enjoyed this video, then give this one a check as well. It will definitely be of interest, and I'll catch you in the next one.